Next In.
Welcome to Next In Nashville. For those of you who follow Next In, Next Level, or any of our other channels or things that we do, we are adding some down-home Southern cooking. So we are going to be doing some in-studio. This is our first one in studio. So if it's a little weird and it's a little awkward, that might be me, or it could just be because it's our first time in studio. So our goal is to connect with local leaders in an effort to build the buzzword ecosystem here. So we are really honored. We have our first guest, Yesi from Vanderbilt, the Wond'ry at Vanderbilt, their innovative arm. So we're really, really excited. And our goal is to connect with you, hopefully the local Nashville people. So do me a favor, subscribe or connect with us on LinkedIn or any other social media medium portal. Come connect with us so that you can start to see more and more of our Next in Nashville content. So now let me introduce Yesi. Yesi, thank you for joining us for our first in studio. So if it's a little weird, I'm like, do I look at you? Do I look at my screen?
I don't know, but thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is awesome. So Yesi is the head of the Wond'ry. The Wond'ry is the innovative arm of Vanderbilt, right? So Vanderbilt is amazing and in a lot of ways, I know you're probably not going to want to say this, but the hub of the educational growth here in Nashville. People know Vanderbilt and they equate Nashville and Vanderbilt together. So thank you for joining us. Do me a favor, tell us your story.
Okay, well, let me set some records straight here so I don't get in trouble with my boss. I'm not the head of the Wond'ry. Okay. I'm on the team. I'm actually the director for strategic engagement and ecosystem development. Our executive director is Professor Dave Owens, and then we have a deputy director who is Dina Metter, and we have just an incredible group of people that run the Wond'ry day in and day out. We are the innovation center for all of Vanderbilt and all of the ecosystem. And my story, well, I've got a fun story. What part of the story?
I know you do. Well, first off, where were you born?
I was born in Chicago.
What hospital?
Resurrection Hospital.
So was I.
I know. That's the fun part of the story. But yeah, so I am a first-generation American, born of immigrants. I am Cuban Brazilian. And I am just proud to be an American and be a Latina and be a part of ecosystem development here in Nashville. I love innovation. I love connecting. I love collaborating. I love building ecosystems. So that's sort of the main part of my story. And then what I do for the Wond'ry is connect moving pieces. How do we build an ecosystem here that's all about innovation, right? And so to do that here in Nashville, we need to I like to look at a fire. I'm not a pyromaniac, but if you think about building a fire when we're young, do you remember how to build a fire?
Yeah, actually yesterday I was telling my oldest son, he's 14, had a sleepover.
Right.
Told him and his friend that when I was growing up, I was really into fire. My wife was like, shut up. I was, yes.
Right,
I loved building.
So you remember
fire.
the three parts?
Fire. Burning things.
Right, but there's three components, right? You got to have fuel.
Yep.
Then you got to have
a spark,
and then
oxygen.
And oxygen, right?
Yeah.
So if you take those three components, right, and then you think about, so fuel could be education, and so we think about universities, and we think about schools, and we think about incubators.
Okay.
And then if you think about air being community and government and workforce, and then if you think about spark being the heat that can be produced by companies and capital.
Okay.
So if you think about those three things, if we can connect those things in the right amount, we can light a fire. Okay. And that's what I call an innovation ecosystem.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a neat way of thinking about it.
Right. So that's what I'm about to do here for the Wond'ry. I'm all about that. How do I light that fire? How do I connect companies and educators and funding and community, and how do we build that so we keep that fire going as long as possible, as safely as possible, but as hot as possible for Nashville?
How'd you get here? So again, you gave your we're both born in Resurrection Hospital, which makes us like brother or sister from another planet. But
right.
So we were both born in the same hospital, which was super weird.
And what year? What year were you born?
1979.
1972.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Wow. So Resurrection Hospital has created two of the most amazing people in the world.
Ever.
And then now you are at the Wond'ry.
Right.
Give us the story to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out, funny enough, in higher education for a very short period of time because I found out that your life is never going to be linear. It's going to be organic. So I had a little rough start in my college education, found myself homeless in college.
Homeless in college?
Yeah, nothing like
awesome.
it. But also found out that, if you're going to do anything with your life, you're going to do it yourself, and you got to figure things out, right? So I found a way to get through college with no loans and no debt.
That's awesome.
By working through college. So I started out in higher education, and then I got into biotech. And I got into biomedical innovation. And then I found myself in a unique proposition to work for higher education again, to try to find a way to instill innovation mindset into young people and to try to create innovators out of any young person in any career going after any major so that they could really find a way to think innovatively. Because I think we think innovation only belongs to like engineers or only belongs to business people. But innovation belongs to everybody.
Yeah, or it's only technology.
Yeah, it's everybody's job to make life better through problem solving. So I started doing that for another university, my previous role. And then my husband and I, he got recruited by Vanderbilt, and I kind of like him. So I came with him.
Yeah, okay.
And then, so we both find ourselves working for Vanderbilt, and I absolutely fell in love with the Wond'ry and what their role is in terms of innovation for everyone, right? Inclusive innovation and shared regional prosperity. And how do we make everyone a problem solver? And this is what, makes me tick. How does everyone look at every part of life as an opportunity to solve a problem? How do you innovate? And it's not about like blue sky stuff. Like everyone can think of something really cool in the absence of constraints, right? If I told you there was no limit to budget and no limit to anything, sure, we could ideate. But what's really cool is what if you master all the constraints? What if in the presence of all the constraints, I could still solve a problem? That's innovation.
Yeah, well, I've full transparency. I've been to the Wond'ry. I've seen it.
Yep.
And I think arguably one of my favorite parts about it was the band director's uniform, right? It's this tons of sequins, crazy, vibrant, I don't know, like just wild. His band director is not the right.
It's a Commodore.
The Commodore. But what I loved about that is, to me, that's what the Wond'ry is. It wasn't just, because when you think innovation, you're thinking, and today you're thinking ChatGPT. You're thinking AI. And yes, that is obviously very innovative. Right. But you guys have a wing that is designed for textiles.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, yeah, I guess textiles can be super innovative, right?
Yep.
From a technology standpoint, but also just from design standpoint, it can be innovative. What other parts of the Wond'ry are there outside of like when you're like, what innovative, cool, software engineering? Yes, there is a section of that. What else? So
again, go to the point of what we're thinking is, so innovation is really, you're looking to solve a problem. So we do a couple of things. One is we look at problems in terms of, are they mosquito bites or are they shark bites? So mosquito bites, they can be annoying, but we kind of table them for later. So then we look at shark bites, and then we look at how problems and solutions fit together. If there's a problem and a solution fit where the outcome might have commercial value, then we have a whole area of entrepreneurship where we can help you from idea to commercialization. But what if that problem solution fit could change human behavior or change a system or change legislation? Well, then we have a whole area that's called social innovation, where you can innovate around social impact or social problems like climate change, like differences in housing insecurities or food inequities. And then on top of that, the place that you're referring to, which is our Fab Lab, we have making areas and emerging technologies areas where if your problem solution fit has a tangible or digital component, you can just go in and create or make and explore what making that part of that solution. And we look at problems and solutions in their entirety, regardless of industry, right? It could be a food and beverage concept. It could be deep tech. It could be medical. It could be fabric. Or how about if we do something that intersects all those areas? What if we look at a wearable that has a fashion component, that has a biometric sensing component, that maybe connects someone's health. So therefore you're maybe adding a healthcare component, and maybe you tie all that in and it has a commercial component, but maybe it has a mental health component. Well, you can integrate like 7 different areas and have something innovative that touches maybe 7 different industries.
That's
now
awesome.
we're talking cool.
Yeah. So where do you see Nashville headed? I obviously have my perspective. Where do you see Nashville going and call it next 5, maybe 10 years?
Oh my goodness, how exciting. So Nashville is so poised to be this on fire ecosystem, going back to my fire reference, because it's really set to be this economic engine, this cradle of innovation. So if you think about Nashville, we're 4 hours plane ride away from 90% of the US population. Mm-hmm. We have an incredible geography. We're connected to logistically everything, whether it's railway or how close we are to the Port of Savannah. So we have air, we have railway, freight transportation. We're close to ocean transportation. We're really far away from the extreme weather pattern, even though today's temperature is funny.
Yeah, right? What is it? It's 32 today and it was 70 yesterday. So I guess that's
But we don't have to shovel snow. Born in Chicago, that's not the same thing. But when you think about what we can do and how we can reskill our workforce, the way we really do live in a temperate location, we can be literally across what we call this Mid-South region. We could be the center for innovation for the United States. And we're poised for it. We have the talent, we have the people, we have the geography. Why not?
So how does Vanderbilt fit in that?
Well, as one of the lead institutions here, we're an R1 research institution. We've got complexity, we've got research, we've got talent. And now with our new direction and our chancellor and the Wond'ry, we've got this will to bring up the entire ecosystem. We're here to help everyone. For example, the Wond'ry just doesn't serve Vanderbilt. We serve students, staff, faculty, and alumni, not just from Vanderbilt, but from any greater Nashville institution. And we've joined this new hub partnership with 8 other universities across the Mid-South. This is about sharing regional prosperity. How do we together do really cool, innovative things across technology, across all of the industries, so we can do it together?
Yeah, which is awesome. And I've gotten a chance to meet, maybe 10, 12 people who have been a part of the Wond'ry, who have, I guess you could say, gone through the Wond'ry and started to learn and been able to be mentored through the Wond'ry, ideate at the Wond'ry, create there, and actually start to bring products to life through the Wond'ry. If you could give me what you think of as like the perfect use case or use cases for people that you're seeing that like really maybe don't even know about the Wond'ry. I didn't even know about it. And now that I've been there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could come here, 3 nights a week and just play around in this place. Like, it's awesome. What are some of the major use cases you see for it outside of just I go to the university and I have a class that's next door to it, so I walk over there?
Yeah, so the way we're set up is you have to be university affiliated because of our university standing, right? But that means that someone on your founding team, one person, that's all it takes, is either a staff, a student, a faculty, or an alumni of a greater Nashville university. And that's pretty easy to hit.
Yep.
Once that, you have a problem or solution fit you want to explore. So then you just reach out to us and you say, I want to explore this idea. And then we evaluate the idea for commercial viability or social impact. Mm-hmm. And then you join our programming, and our programming is free. And that's how
awesome.
You start. And then we plug you into the system. How do we help you with your idea? How do we help you de-risk that idea as low cost and as low risk as possible? And by low cost, I mean we don't charge anything.
That's awesome.
And we don't ask for IP. And we don't ask for ownership. And we plug you into the ecosystem. And if we're not the right partner for you, we will go find you the right partner. Because again, this is about all of us succeeding. We don't pick winners. We want you to succeed. So it really just starts with reach out. Connect with us and we will connect you.
So what was your favorite, most excited thing when you look at the last year, because we're pretty new here in 2023. When you look back at 2022, give me your favorite moment, event, happening, company that came through the Wond'ry, whatever. You're most excited 2022.
Oh, just one?
Just one.
Oh, there have been a lot of moments. Companies, there have been several. We've done a lot in 2022. So probably one of my personal favorites, only because it's coming up next week. The second annual is coming up next week. So one of my favorite moments was we had a local company by the name of Renaissance Marketing Group that came to us and said, what if we could do something to really focus on and empower women founders in our ecosystem and help connect women to empower themselves to start businesses and to really lead from within. And in 2 months, we thought of, created, and put on the first ever Renaissance Women's Summit.
Oh, cool.
And we did it last year, and it's coming up next Saturday. The second annual one is. And we brought speakers from all over the United States, and we connected them to women leaders here in Nashville, and we put on this summit. And it was the most amazing collection of women and allies. And we brought them for a full day of workshops and lectures and community in which women could really step into that role of, I can start my own business, I can lead my own business, I can market for myself, I can find my voice. And we're about to do it again next week, where we have something upwards of 25 speakers.
Wow.
We're bringing Tori Gerberg, who started Pink Lily. We're bringing the president and chief executive of the Diane von Furstenberg Fashion House. We're bringing women who have built entire enterprises that started, in their garages and now are multi-million-dollar corporations. And again, it's all that same concept of how you empower yourselves, how you don't compete, but simply collaborate. I think that was one of my favorites because it was just an idea that quickly turned into a full thought, a full expression, and a full movement. And that story is just one of many things that happen in the Wond'ry, where this was an idea from the community with the community, and we just said, sure, we'll help. So it's not even a Wond'ry event, it's a community event, and we're just there to partner.
Okay, so upcoming year, what wakes you up in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait until, doing the podcast with Taylor. Oh, that's so exciting. Other than that, upcoming year, what you're so excited about?
Because, just for the record, that woke me up this morning. I was like, podcast with Taylor. Well, think about this. We were doing 3 or 4 programs last year just in entrepreneurship. We're looking at, 150 to 200% growth in those programs just this year. We're looking at the Renaissance Women's Summit. This second annual will be twice the size it was last year. This year, we're looking at just the programs that we do as the Wond'ry in terms of ecosystem development. We have now been awarded this National Science Foundation grant where we're working with 8 other universities across the Mid-South. Everything that we're doing is accelerating, and everything that we're doing is growing, and that is just phenomenal. The number of teams that we're putting through our cohorts is growing. We launched a Climate Innovation Accelerator just last week. We have mapped the system programs that are doubling in size. Everything that we're doing is growing exponentially. We have a Maker Fest coming October of this year where we're going to assemble all the makers in greater Nashville to come on campus and show people how to make things. We expect 1,500 to 2,000 people.
Wow.
It's just amazing when you can say to people, come be a part of it and let us showcase you, right? Yeah. It's not about us. It's about all of us.
That's fantastic. And how long have you been in Nashville?
A year and a half.
You personally?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I guess I don't know. I thought you were here a lot. So I've actually been here longer. So I'm like the truth on Nashville because I've been here 2 years. So I'm like an old vet here. I was going to say, what do you love, kind of getting away from the professional side, what do you love about Nashville? Why do you love living here and everything about it?
Well, I can tell you really easily. So the best summary of why I love Nashville is actually wearenashville.com. I learned about that at a chamber event, and it's a project that's being put on by a group of individuals, and it's a compilation of what makes Nashville, Nashville. And one of the things that this project has done, it's being led by a photojournalist, And it's images and storylines of people all over Nashville. But one of the things they did was assemble the house rules of Nashville. And if you haven't seen these, you've got to see these. They're amazing.
Yeah, I haven't.
I posted. I bought the poster and I have it in my office. But you got to look up the house rules of Nashville. Some of them are like, we don't honk, which is true. Coming from Florida,
coming from Chicago, they honk. And I will say, my wife was like, "See, when we'd go home, she'd be like, listen to how many horns."
It's
I don't know.
Quiet here.
Heard the story yesterday of the middle finger coming out, and it was not ours, but it was directed at us. So
but it's quiet here.
It is quiet.
When you think, because I also spent a lot of time in Miami. There's no honking here. It's, in fact, when somebody honks, everybody turns around and goes, "Ooh, what was that for?"
Yes.
But things like, always be nice. Learn to know who your neighbor is. Respect the musicians.
Yeah.
Protect the musicians, right? But the people here are welcoming. Everyone welcomes you. Everyone wants to know your story.
That's
you
true.
even asked me that. The first thing you said was, "What's your story?"
That's true. Down here, you're right. Everyone
it's the story,
I have met,
right?
I've heard someone made a comment to me. Everyone will meet with you once.
Yes.
Maybe not, 3 or 4 times. You got to earn the second and third meeting. But everyone. Their ego is checked at the door, and they will always meet with you one time.
Yes.
And allow you to tell your story, and they'll tell you theirs.
Yep.
Everyone, which is really cool to see down here because, I don't know that I would say that that's Chicago.
No, and it's definitely not a lot of the big cities. So Nashville has that. The people here are all here because they want to be.
Yeah.
And that shows through on everything we do. Everyone is in Nashville because they want to be here. Yeah. And that's different. I think it's very, very different.
I don't know. Again, I keep dogging out Chicago. I love Chicago. I'm a big Sox fan. So there's
Bears.
I'm a huge Bears fan. So again, Chicago is still in my blood. But I will say, I used to say everyone has an expiration date in Chicago. They always say when they're going to leave. When my kid graduates high school, I'm out of here. There was always this expiration date. Mm-hmm. When I can retire, I'm going here. No one really wanted to be there, but here you ask someone and they're like, "Yep, I'm going to be buried in the backyard." Like they just expect this is where they want to finish. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Chicago, people are like, "Yeah, I'm here because, but I really don't really want to be here." It's very different down here.
It's different. And in fact, when you find a native, and people call them unicorns.
Yeah, right.
Which is cool because unicorns are awesome. But when you're not a unicorn and you meet a unicorn, you're in awe. You're like, "Ooh," and then you want them to be your best friend because then you're like, "Oh, you're native? Mm-hmm. Can I be your best friend?
I know.
I want to know you for life now."
And I know people who've been here for like 20 years who think they're natives, but they're not really natives. They're not the true unicorns, but they've been here a long time. So they've seen the massive explosion of growth. Mm-hmm. And are you, have you gotten to the place yet where you're a little bit guarded when you meet someone who's like really new, who's newer than you, and you're like, "Hey, we're excited to have you here, but make sure that you don't honk and you don't, hey, be nice and be kind and know your neighbor and do those things." Like, it was weird. I was here for about a year, and all of a sudden I started acting like this was, Nashville. I've been here forever.
I may give out the house rules.
Yeah, right?
I do. I send people to the website, and you can get the house rules like on a postcard, and I may hand those out. It's true because I love it. I don't want it ruined.
I don't disagree. All right. So someone comes in, some friend of yours comes to Nashville, first time. What do you do with them? What do you tell them they have to do?
Wow. I don't know. Let's see.
Restaurant. Where do they got to go?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing I love about Nashville. I have yet to eat at every restaurant that everyone has ever recommended to me. And I had to start working out because I was eating my way through Nashville. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's been an amazing journey of food and deliciousness. And I got 3 more restaurant suggestions last night that I have to go eat. I would say meet the real people, eat the real food, take a beautiful hike, go to the parks.
All right. So what park? You don't like to be pinned down to one.
So it depends. Do you want to see a waterfall or do you want to go to a local park?
Local park.
So if you want to go to a small park, you can go to Sevilla Park. If you want to go to the big park, you can go to Percy Warner.
Or go to Radnor.
Yeah. Well, Radnor Lake, if you want to see. By the way, Radnor Lake, fun fact I just found out, is a birder's paradise. It's apparently on some huge migratory pattern, and if you're a birder, it's a place to go.
A birder?
Birder, if you're a birder. Yeah.
Isn't that like an aviarian?
If you're really into birds.
Okay. I think don't they call them aviarians?
I don't know what the term is.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not a birder, clearly.
I'm not a birder, but I heard that recently, and it's a big deal on migratory patterns.
If you go at the right time, you will also see like 25,000, and that's not an exaggeration, turtles. I've seen them. Literally like 25,000.
And fun fact, as of last year, they have a mated pair of American eagles.
Yep.
And it's a successful pairing with eaglets. So that's supposed to be really big in the birder community.
The aviarian. I'm trying. I'm not. All right. So there's your park. Where's the place you got to eat?
What kind of food?
I don't know. I'm new.
It depends.
Send me to a place. I say Mojo's Tacos. I know people don't agree with me. It's in Franklin, technically, but
yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, if it depends on what kind of food you want to eat. I mean, I don't know. I can give you a really long list. You can go to Josephine's. You can go to. I hear you can go to Bastion's. You can go to the Ale House, Chez Juan's Ale House for Indian food. You can go to Etch and etc. You can go to the Chef and I. You can go to. I
have some opinions on these. I'm not going to say which ones. There's one that I have an opinion on.
You can go to A Piece on 12 South. You can go to. Do
you like Bar Taco?
I love Bar Taco.
I haven't gotten to get in. It was 2-hour wait last time I tried.
Yeah, you can go to Barcelona, which is in Wedgwood, Houston. You can go. It depends, and you want to go in the Gulch. Biscuit Love with their sausage gravy that I had recently. That I wasn't even a sausage gravy girl, and all of a sudden I was like, "What is this?"
Biscuit Love is great.
Yeah, but there's just so much.
Soy Bistro right down the block. I know people are like, really?
I haven't had that.
Yeah, it was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Really?
We go there once a week.
The Fable Burger. Have you had the burger at Fable?
No. We've had a Pharmacy Burger. Pharmacy burgers are great.
I'm telling you, this list goes on forever.
Yeah, it's true.
It goes on forever. And I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned you, restaurateurs.
That means she doesn't like you.
No, that means I haven't gone there. There's Lola, which is also in the Sylvan neighborhood. There's
Sylvan Park?
Yeah, in Sylvan Park. There's Lola. Literally everywhere you go, there's a really great restaurant.
Okay, so what's an event you have to do if you're in town? Vanderbilt basketball game?
Yeah, that's fun. Or a Vandy Boys game. Or the Pilgrimage Music Festival.
Which is really cool. Coming from the north, college baseball, no one ever talked about it. And I moved down here, I got kids, play baseball, and all the dads are talking about like Ole Miss versus Vandy, watching it on TV, and I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, come on. This is college baseball. Now I'm into college baseball. The Vandy Boys, you say that. For those who aren't aware, that's like go watch college baseball, and it's a big, big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a real big deal, and it's super cool. So go to a Vandy game.
Yeah.
I will also throw in there, you can go to some of the other schools around here, like Lipscomb basketball game, Belmont basketball game.
Yes.
And it's so approachable. That's what I went to. First vacation here, we went to a Vanderbilt basketball game. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so approachable. It didn't feel like going to a game in Chicago and like you're in some crowd and people are pushing you. It was so approachable, and I have a picture of my son, who was probably 7 at the time, on the court after the game. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, and just so you know, in the greater Nashville area, we have 21 colleges and universities.
Name them all right now. Ready? Go.
No.
I'm just kidding.
So enjoy whichever university, whichever college, support them all. It's all good stuff, right? We're a learning community, and we support all of these institutions. They're all institutions that are improving lives and fighting to fill that generational poverty gap, and fighting to keep people educated, and fighting to improve lives. So support your favorite team. And fun fact, so you know, we do have the Nashville Sounds.
Yes.
They are the farm team for the Brewers. I found that out.
Yeah, it's really fun to go to a stadium.
They're fun to go to that stadium. They're going to be playing the Savannah Bananas.
I know.
So if you know anything about these crazy non-major league baseball games, you should probably go to that one.
I do want to go to the Savannah Bananas game.
I hear that's going to be a fun game.
There's a lot of fun things to do here that is really very approachable. Nashville Sounds, Vandy Boys baseball games, Vanderbilt basketball games, Belmont, Lipscomb basketball games, and baseball games, etc. Vandy football games. Tons of fun stuff to do because there is that college feel. Belmont, Lipscomb, and Vanderbilt, which are probably the three most well-known, I think, maybe, are each within about 5 minutes of each other. And so that whole west side of Nashville has a lot of cool stuff to do.
Yep. Belmont's known for its music academy as well.
Yep. And then obviously you didn't even mention go check out live music, writers round, something like that. So you notice the people here from Nashville never say go to Broadway. But that's what everyone from outside of Nashville is like, oh, I got to go to Broadway. It's like, okay. Enter at your own risk.
Go once.
Yep. Check it off. And then go to Radnor and hike off.
You mean Nash Vegas?
Yeah, right. Yep. So, all right. So go to Broadway. Try it.
Go to Broadway. Go once. It's fun.
Yeah. And then go to one of the many restaurants we named off and go to Radnor Park, Sevilla Park, whatever. Go see a waterfall and all the rest. All right, last question. I ask everyone this, and you have to give one and one only favorite movie.
Favorite movie? Any genre?
Any genre.
That's tough.
It's not.
Oh, my gosh.
Disappoint people. It's okay.
No. Casablanca.
Okay. You didn't pick a bad one.
It's a fantastic movie. It's about relationships.
Braveheart.
Oh, that's good, too.
Also about relationships. And gore, but
gore.
It's very gory, but it's a fantastic movie.
Best scene out of Braveheart.
Favorite scene with the best score behind it is when Mel Gibson comes back to avenge, and he acts like he's going to surrender to the English, and he doesn't. That's the best scene, in my opinion.
Best scene is when he chases after who he thinks is the enemy, takes his helmet off, and realizes who it is.
Okay.
Do you remember that scene in the field?
Yeah, when it was Robert the Bruce.
And Robert the Bruce. And the look of betrayal on his face. And the score behind him. The musical score behind. Come on. It was Robert the Bruce.
Ironically, I can work out to it because that movie was so intense. I can work out to the original score. A little weird, but I can because that movie is awesome. And then Gladiator is right behind it. That's my
Gladiator's a good movie.
That's my 1 and 2. So, all right. Well, Yesi, this is you've given us probably more time than we even asked for. Again, Yesi, I should have said it better. Not necessarily head of the Wond'ry, director of alliances and ultimate connector at the Wond'ry, which is the innovation arm at Vanderbilt University, which is really servicing Middle Tennessee, Stretch It Out Tennessee, Mid-South, and really doing just an amazing job. I'm telling you, if you haven't gone, check it out. How can people get connected with the Wond'ry or with you if they're like, oh my gosh, I'm one of the 50 million who listen to this podcast and I want to know how can I get there? What do they do?
Absolutely. You can either go to our website. So you can search us out through vanderbilt.edu, or you can search us out through thewond'ry.com, or just search me out on LinkedIn. It's Yesi Sevilla. I know it's hard to pronounce, but try. You can learn food. You can learn my name. But definitely look us up, connect with me on LinkedIn, find us on the internet, and just reach out. We'll connect you to whomever is the right connection for you.
And I will say, everyone I've met at the Wond'ry follows the house rules of they will tell you their story, they'll ask yours, and they will connect with you, which is part of, I'm sure, why it is growing at 100 or 200% in every part of the programming. It's awesome. We are so thankful here at Next Level to just be connected with the Wond'ry in any way that we can support what Vanderbilt's doing, what the Wond'ry is doing, and what you're doing, Yesi. So thank you again for coming. For those of you who love this show, want more of it, connect with us, either LinkedIn or our social media, subscribe to this podcast, comment on this, whatever. Reach out to us, email us, any way that you can get a hold of us. Stay connected to us, stay connected to Yesi, stay connected to the Wond'ry. But again, thank you so much for coming in studio for the first time. So you got to launch.
Thanks for having me.
This was awesome. So thank you so much again. To everyone else, goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
Next in.